Alright, today I'm going to do the practice the chapter 9 practice, and except for problem number 2, I think all the problems are going to be exactly like it because we have the exact problems, except for I forgot what point to put on number 2. So for problem number 1, it says negative 3 pi over 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take pi over 4 and really multiply that by 180 over pi so that I can get this into degrees, which is 45 degrees. Now 45 degrees isn't on here, but there would have been 15, 30, and 45. But because this is negative 3, instead of going towards 45, I'm going to go away from 45, 1, 2, 3, and that is going to be point A. Now for negative 5, negative 60, negative 60 comes around this direction to 300, because it's the same thing. If you wanted to add 360, you'd find out that it's the same thing. And then negative 5 would go the other side, 1, 2, 3, and let's pretend like this is circle 4 and circle 5. This isn't the greatest graph to draw on because it's only got 3 circles. So this point up here, the second quadrant, would have been B. Alright, so I just got a problem that is now more like the ones we have on our picture, and let me just choose this point right here, and let's count this out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is going to be 7, 165. Now when they ask me to give this same answer in 4 different ways, now of course if I go around the other way, that's negative 180, so that's going to be negative 195. So my answer is 7, negative 195 degrees. If I go across, that's 345 degrees. And because I'm on the opposite side of where the point is, I'm going to use a negative. So that's negative 7. And if I go this direction, that's negative 15. And those are the 4 different ways that I can name the point that I have in this particular example. Alright, here's a formula that you don't really need to have, but you don't have to remember because I will give it to you. So here we got 2 squared for R1, 11 squared for R2, and so we got the cosine of 100 minus 50. Now make sure that your calculator is in degrees for this. And it turns out to be the square root of 82.54. And so when I square root the answer, it turns out to be 9.1. Alright, for problem number 4, I forgot to put in sine theta and cosine theta. And so put those into your problem right now. And we're going to start out by doing the substitution. So I got 3 sine theta minus 2 equals 5 sine theta minus 1. I'm going to get all of the sine thetas onto the same side. And I'm going to get the numbers to the other side. And since there's a 2 in front of the sine theta, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So I wind up with negative 1/2 equals the sine of theta. I know the sine is negative in the third quadrant and the 4th quadrant. And when I do inverse sine of just positive 1/2 in my calculator, that's going to give me the reference angle of 30 degrees. So that means that is going to be 210 degrees, and that is going to be 330 degrees. Now when I plug this 330 or 210, for both of them the sine is equal to negative 1/2. So I'm going to put that right into here. So I got r equals negative 1/2 minus 1, which is negative 3/2. And so that's going to be my answer for both of them. And it didn't matter if I put it into the top one or put it into the bottom one, it still would have been so when I plug in negative 1/2 into this portion, just to make sure I have this clarified, I'm going to wind up with 3 times negative 1/2 minus 1, which turns out to be negative 5/2. Alright, let's scratch this whole thing completely because I got confused. And so let's start out with 5 sine theta minus 2 and 3 sine theta minus 1. And the problem was when I substituted in wrong stuff. So r equals 5 sine theta minus 2 equals 3 sine theta minus 1. Subtract 3 sine theta and add 2, and we get 1 equals 2 sine theta. So the sine theta is equal to 1/2. Now we're in the right direction. That happened in the first quadrant and the second quadrant, and my reference angle is still 30 degrees. So theta equals 30 degrees, or theta equals 150 degrees. So when I plug in this problem, 1/2 goes in here, so I got 5 times 1/2 minus 2, which turns out to be 1/2 for r. And I will do the second page of the review on the next video.